Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and I've been getting a lot of questions lately about who I should tier 4 next. Hey Alex, I got enough tier 4 materials. Who do you think I should build up? Alex, I'm thinking, Captain America, Moon Knight. Who should I go for? Oh, Thor, Hulk, Spider-Man. Which one should I tier 4? So I'm gonna try to put those questions to rest and give you guys my updated tier 4 ranking guide. So we have 6 new tier 4s since the last time I made this video a few months ago. A lot of new tier 4s. We've gotten a few meta shifts, one big one, if you can notice who. So we're gonna jump in and see what the new ranking looks like. Now I have messed around with the columns a little bit, or the rows a little bit. Rather than just S, A, and B, I've done S and A, which I'll explain in a little bit, and then I've done GBR World Boss Legend versus ABX ABL. So what I essentially want to do is I want to highlight that there are some characters that are just not really good for multiple pieces of content, but their value is concentrated in a few pieces of content. So a really good example of that, in my opinion, is Black Widow. There are other examples of this, and we'll get to it, but I'll just rank Black Widow here first. Primarily at this point, if you're going to tier 4 Black Widow, you're doing it for ABX and ABL, right? There's not really any other game mode where she shines. She can absolutely go to high stages of World Boss Legend with an absolutely stacked build, but she's not very fun to play. She's kind of squishy at times when she doesn't have her tier 4 buff up. And, there are much better options, right? Especially in the speed female category now, there are much better options, and there will be much better options in the future. So at this point, right, not that Black Widow doesn't have utility, okay? I'm not saying she's the worst tier 4, but I want to highlight where her value is rather than just saying that she has value and just arbitrarily putting her in A tier or whatever, okay? So just so we're clear here, that means that the character is going to excel at these game modes and not really excel anywhere else. Another really good example is Ant-Man. Really good for World Boss Legend, really good for GBR, not really going to excel in any other game mode. Can he do other game modes? Absolutely. But is he going to really excel compared to other tier 4s in those game modes? No, not really. And part of that has to do with the fact that there are no ABX or ABL restrictions currently for speed male heroes, okay? So that's how the list breaks down. If a character is able to get into the A tier or the S tier, it means that they are able to do, like, they don't fit into these boxes because they're able to do multiple pieces of content at a very high level. And frankly, that is where the majority of characters will end up going, but I just wanted to highlight this in the meantime. We don't really have any characters who are PvP only at this point, so there's no point in having a PvP row. There are certainly characters who are good for PvP, but they can also do PvE quite well, so it wouldn't really be fair to put them in one category or another, okay? So we're going to start off here. Jean Grey, it's very easy here, guys. She's basically the best character in the game. Yeah, there's no denying it, so Jean Grey has to go right to the top. Just an absolutely broken character for all pieces of content. Yeah, just she can basically do everything. I mean, maybe farming is the only thing she can't do, but she might actually be able to do that, and people just haven't tested it yet. So yeah, we're gonna put her there next to Black Bolt and Thor. I feel comfortable having these 3 at the top. It's no coincidence these 3 at the top. They're also universals, which means they have no disadvantages for GBR. They also have, dedicated days where they're best in slot for ABX and ABL. So they have, or maybe not him, but yeah. They just dominate so many pieces of content that it would be foolish to not put all 3 of them here just by default, right? Just by default, the list is going to have these 3 here. Professor X, as we've sort of seen here, like, he does have some ABX or ABX and ABL value, but I'm kind of tempted to put him here with Ant-Man. I'm not really sure. Like, it's still a bit early to rank him ultimately. I know he is a little bit better than Storm for ABL, but that little bit, might not seal it for him being here, right? Captain America is a tough one. We'll get back to him in a little bit here. Moon Knight, I think at this point, like, he does have World Boss Legend value for sure. He's one of the slower combat types for GBR. He has a lot of ABX, ABL value, 100%. I kind of want to put him here for this, but he does have World Boss Legend value, and he does have more he's available for more restricted stages than a bunch of others, like Venom and Captain America and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll put him here for now, and we'll see where he shakes out. Shadow Shell is a weird one because she's very good for ABL and World Boss Legend, but she's really bad for GBR and ABX. So yeah, Shadow Shell almost needs her own category because she's such a weird one. I'm gonna put her in A tier, but that's basically where she should be. But she's absolutely a weird one. Spider-Man. All right, maybe to make this list a little bit easier, we are going to put in a PvP slot just because I feel like some of these characters, although like Hulk he can be very good for PvE with a PvE build. There are a lot better options for him for PvE, and I think a lot of people are going to be building Hulk strictly for PvP. I think kind of the same thing goes for Spider-Man. Again, I'm not trying to say that these characters can only do this game mode. Tier 4s, just to be clear, are very, very strong, but it's just that there are game modes where they excel and where you're going to get more value out of them. So I just want to highlight that for these characters. For Magneto, we all know he's amazing for ABX and ABL. Besides that, he is good for World Boss Legend. It's a debate right now whether he's better than Professor X, but he is quite squishy. So I kind of want to put him here. He's also really good for GBR, though. Yeah, I think he kind of deserves to be here. Cap kind of doesn't deserve to be here, to be honest. And Venom, too. It's kind of awkward for these two. But yeah. Carnage, I kind of want to put him in PvP as well, to be honest. Mainly because of how good his artifact is for PvP. He does have some PvE value, although he's very slow for GBR because he can't consistently take damage. For higher world bosses, especially like Gore and stuff like that, and Ultron at high levels where the pure evil tag is there, he's the only one that has it. So I believe Magneto doesn't have pure evil, and so because of that, he does have some unique restrictions to himself. But yeah, I kind of feel comfortable doing it like this. Otherwise, I think this list is pretty... Yeah, I think this is pretty good. I would put Shadow Shell over Magneto for sure. I would also put Shadow Shell over Storm. Yeah, Shadow Shell's pretty busted. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is good. I think this is how it should look. Yeah. This is looking quite correct to me. I think Blue Dragon's still very underrated, personally. But I also think her PvP value may be overstated at this point. We don't see a lot of her in PvP, so she may still be good, but she may not be good, and that may be the reason why you don't see her, right? You can't assume that it's always one thing, it might be the other thing. So it may make sense to put her down here with Namor and Iron Man. That might make a little bit more sense. Now, as far as World Boss Legend GBR goes, she's very, very good. She's also useful for ABX and ABL, and she has PvP value, so she absolutely deserves to be here. It just depends on where you want to put her on this tier, right? Namor might need to be moved down, to be honest. Very good for ABX, ABL, though, and very good for World Boss Legend, and good enough for GBR. Maybe this makes more sense. I don't know. Am I overvaluing Iron Man? I might be. This is tough. This is a really tough ranking. All of these characters are very strong, and it's just a matter of where they fit into the puzzles. Like, I don't even know, between Magneto and Storm, that's also a really good question, right? Because they both do basically the same things. So it ends up coming down to restrictions, I guess, in which case Storm has the edge over Magneto. But yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you and sort of start a dialogue on this. Do you agree with this list? Do you disagree with this list? Do you think... I really don't want to put another category in here. Like, I think this is good for the time being. I mean, maybe when we have like 30 or 40 more tier 4s, we'll have to expand and put in a sixth row. But I think for now, 5 rows is good enough, and it very well highlights the value of these characters without putting them in too small of a niche, right? And again, just to reiterate, putting a character in one of these bottom 3 categories doesn't mean that they're worse, and it doesn't mean that they're only good for these game modes. It just means that they have they excel in a big way for these game modes, and they don't excel as much in other game modes compared to some of these characters up here. But that makes more sense. Move Venom down. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Do we move Cap down? Well, he has some PvP value. Okay. Yeah. I'm happy with this. Yeah. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.